More than just concrete and steel, this bridge is a lifeline, a symbol of one of the world's closest alliances, and a testament to decades of trust and cooperation between two nations. Its soaring arches and intricate framework represent not only engineering prowess, but also the hopes and dreams of millions who rely on the connection it provides. Tonight, the brand new Gordie Howe International Bridge, built to unite the US and Canada, finds itself at the center of a fierce and unexpected trade conflict. What was meant to be a beacon of unity now stands as a battleground for economic and political interests. What was designed as a monument to cooperation now threatens to divide neighbors and allies, casting a shadow over years of friendship and shared prosperity. The bridge, once a symbol of hope, now finds itself at the heart of a growing rift. This isn't just a local spat, it's a warning to the world about the fragility of global trade and alliances. The ripple effects of this dispute could be felt far beyond these borders, shaking the foundations of international commerce. If a trade war can erupt here between two of the world's closest partners, it can happen anywhere. No alliance is immune to the pressures of politics and economics. The US-Canada trade relationship is the largest on Earth, with billions in goods crossing daily, much of it through this vital corridor. Every day, thousands of trucks, carrying everything from auto parts to fresh produce, make this journey, fueling industries and livelihoods on both sides. Now, tariffs and retaliation threaten to choke that flow, risking jobs and raising prices from Michigan to Saskatchewan. The uncertainty is palpable, as workers and business owners brace for the impact of stalled shipments and rising costs. We're on the ground in Windsor and Detroit, talking to truckers, business owners, and political insiders to reveal the real impact. Their stories paint a vivid picture of how international disputes can disrupt everyday lives and how communities are struggling to adapt. This is about more than steel or tariffs. It's about identity, sovereignty, and the future of a continent. The choices made here will echo for generations, shaping the destiny of North America. The bridge, once a promise of prosperity, is now a flashpoint in a trade war neither side can afford to lose. The stakes are high, and the outcome remains uncertain. Welcome to the front lines of a new era in North American relations, where the future of two nations and the fate of a continent hang in the balance. To understand the new bridge, you have to know the old one. The Ambassador Bridge, built in 1929, has been the busiest commercial crossing between the US and Canada, a vital artery for the auto industry. But it's aging, congested, and privately owned, creating a vulnerability both nations have long recognized. Canada grew uneasy, relying on a foreign-owned, deteriorating link for its economic security. After decades of debate, studies confirmed a new, modern, publicly owned bridge was essential. The decision wasn't a choice, it was a necessity for national security and economic survival. Years of political wrangling finally cleared the way for the Gordie Howe International Bridge, a 6-lane, state-of-the-art marvel named for a hockey legend who bridged both nations. With US funding stalled, Canada took the unprecedented step of financing the entire project, including the US port of entry. Construction began in 2018, employing thousands and symbolizing cross-border cooperation. As the bridge neared completion, political winds shifted. The return of Donald Trump to the White House brought a new America First agenda. Suddenly, the very steel uniting two nations became the center of a bitter dispute. On July 15, 2025, the Trump administration stunned Ottawa and the world by announcing a sweeping 25% tariff on Canadian structural steel, citing national security concerns. The move sent shockwaves through both governments and immediately dominated headlines across North America. The timing was no accident. The executive order landed just as the final shipments of steel for the Gordie Howe International Bridge were set to cross the border. This was a direct, calculated blow to a project that symbolized cross-border cooperation and economic partnership. President Trump took to the stage, declaring, "We're building America with American steel. No foreign country will build a bridge on our soil and send us the bill." His words echoed through factories and boardrooms, energizing his supporters and sending a clear message to his critics. The move played perfectly to his political base, reinforcing his America First agenda. But for the bridge project, it unleashed chaos. Confusion reigned on the construction site as workers and managers scrambled to understand the new reality. The Canadian-made steel, already fabricated and paid for, now faced a crippling tax at the border. Shipments were halted, trucks lined up at customs, and millions of dollars in materials were suddenly in limbo. Construction on the U.S. side risked grinding to a halt. Idle machinery and unfinished spans became a stark symbol of the standoff, as officials on both sides scrambled to respond and find a way forward. This wasn't Trump's first tariff on Canada, but this one was different. Surgical, precise, and aimed at a single, high-profile project. It was a warning shot, and everyone knew it. The message was unmistakable. North American cooperation now had new, unpredictable rules. Decades of trust and routine were suddenly upended, replaced by uncertainty and suspicion. The bridge, once a proud symbol of partnership and progress, became a pawn in a high-stakes political power play, its future hanging in the balance. Contractors, workers, and entire communities on both sides of the border faced uncertainty overnight. Families who depended on the project for their livelihoods watched anxiously as the situation unfolded. The economic and diplomatic fallout was immediate and severe. Markets reacted, diplomats rushed to emergency meetings, and trade negotiators braced for a prolonged standoff. The old playbook of quiet, behind-the-scenes cooperation was out the window. Both sides now faced a new era of public confrontation and high-stakes brinkmanship. The trade war had a new front line, spanning the Detroit River, where steel, politics, and national pride collided in a battle that would shape the future of North American relations. Ottawa responded swiftly. Prime Minister Trudeau condemned the U.S. tariff as unjust and insulting, vowing not to be bullied. Instead of matching steel tariffs, Canada hit back with targeted duties on U.S. goods like Florida oranges and Kentucky bourbon, products from politically sensitive states. The message, two can play at political hardball. Canada also launched a formal challenge under the USMCA, arguing the tariff violated trade agreements. Meanwhile, the government pledged to cover the extra costs to keep the bridge on track, framing it as a matter of national importance. The bridge became a rallying point for Canadian resolve. Construction would continue, no matter the cost. The dispute transformed a simple infrastructure project into a symbol of defiance and unity. The standoff was now about more than steel. It was about national pride. The tariff war sent shockwaves through both countries. In the U.S., prices for targeted goods like cheese and wine crept up, while farmers and exporters faced shrinking sales to Canada. In Canada, taxpayers footed the bill for the new tariff, diverting millions from other priorities. The uncertainty rattled businesses, especially in the auto sector, where cross-border supply chains are the norm. Any disruption, tariffs, protests, or delays threatened to halt production and cost jobs. Industry leaders on both sides called for de-escalation, warning that a prolonged dispute could cripple North American competitiveness. Ironically, the bridge meant to secure trade was now the source of new instability. The lesson: political decisions can upend decades of economic logic in an instant. The pain was real and growing. For Windsor and Detroit, the bridge is more than just steel and concrete. It's personal, a lifeline that connects two cities, two countries, and countless lives. These cities are deeply intertwined. Every day, families reunite, workers commute, and businesses rely on the steady flow across the border. The bridge is a symbol of opportunity and connection, not just a crossing point. But now, the trade war has cast a long shadow, fueling frustration and anxiety in coffee shops and workplaces on both sides. Conversations that once focused on family or business now turn to uncertainty and worry about the future. In Windsor, pride in the bridge runs deep, but it's now mixed with anger and disbelief at being labeled a security threat by their closest neighbor. "We poured our hearts into this steel," one worker told us, his voice heavy with emotion and pride in his craft. "To call it a threat is a bad joke," he added, shaking his head, echoing the sentiment of many who feel misunderstood and unfairly targeted. In Detroit, while some support the tariffs as a way to protect American jobs, many more worry about layoffs, lost business, and missed opportunities that could ripple through the community for years. Small businesses near the bridge fear that delays, uncertainty, and political gridlock will hurt their bottom line, making it harder to survive in an already challenging economy. "We need this bridge finished," a local restaurant owner said, explaining how every day of delay means fewer customers and more stress for his staff. "We're neighbors. We should be working together, not fighting," he added, reflecting a common hope for cooperation and understanding. The dispute strains relationships and erodes the goodwill built over generations. Friendships, family ties, and business partnerships are all at risk. For the workers building the bridge, the political fight feels distant and even absurd. They just want to finish their work and help connect two communities that have always depended on each other. The real cost isn't just economic, it's the damage to trust, to friendship, and to the sense of unity that once defined life along this border. To understand the bigger picture, we spoke with Dr. Alina Vance, an expert on US-Canada relations. She explained, infrastructure is now a front in global power struggles, not just about trade, but about control. The Trump administration's tariff is less about economics, more about asserting dominance, even over allies. The message: the US can dictate terms even when Canada pays for a project on American soil. Globally, this echoes China's use of infrastructure for influence. Now the US is playing hardball too. The result: trust erodes, and allies think twice about future cooperation. Both sides are dug in. Neither wants to appear weak. The likely outcome? A quiet negotiation, eventually. But for now, the bridge stands as a costly symbol of strained friendship. The world is watching. The Gordie Howe Bridge stands as a paradox, built to connect, now caught in conflict. Its fate will shape the future of US-Canada relations and the global economy. Can two close allies resolve a dispute that threatens their prosperity? The cost of failure is high: lost jobs, higher prices, and eroded trust. The bridge was meant to solve problems, not create new ones. Leaders must look beyond politics and remember the people who depend on cooperation. The final girders will be set, but what kind of world will the bridge open into? Let us know your thoughts below and subscribe for more stories behind the headlines.